Welcome back, guys. Today we're doing another video of ranking NFL wide receivers. So first up, we got Justin Jefferson. There's no doubt about it. He is a top 5 receiver because of his deep threat abilities and how he can catch footballs. He's just great. He can do everything. Best route running inside the game. Juju Smith is up next. Personally, I don't think he's the best. So I'm going to put him at the last tier. I don't think he's one of those good receivers who can catch the football no matter what. Next up, we got Odell Beckham. It's hard. I think he might probably 16-20. Probably like the lower of that. He could honestly be higher, but for now, I think he's like 16-20 area. Next up, Ja'Marr Chase. I think he's like dead last, number 5 for like top 5. But he's a great receiver. He is such a great route runner, just like Justin Jefferson. I think he will one day be better than Justin Jefferson, but not now. Next up, we got Stephon Diggs. I think he's easily a top 10 receiver, but I do think that Josh Allen has something to do with him being very good, because if he had a quarterback, let's just say, for an example, Kenny Pickett, someone who's very mediocre. Throwing to him, I don't think he would be as good. But if he still put up the numbers that he had now with Kenny Pickett as quarterback, he would be top 5. Next up, I got Tyreek Hill. Obviously, a top 5, top 3 receiver. I don't care what anyone says. He's the fastest and the best at getting open inside the middle of the field ever inside NFL history. Next up, we got Garrett Wilson. I think he's top 10 already. I mean, I know he just got drafted, but like with him putting over 1,000 yards, I think that he will be top 5 in like maybe 10 years or 5. Next up, we got Amari Cooper. I think he is a top 15 receiver, probably lower, like 14 or 15. But I think if he had a better quarterback, he would be able to be such a bigger playmaker. Because whenever he was with Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott was actually pretty good, and he wasn't throwing 16 interceptions at the very end of the season, he was great. He was doing over 1,000 yards per season. He was just great. Next up, we got Deontay Johnson. A lot of disappointment here. So I'm going to say he's one of the lower receivers. Next up, we got Nick Collins. One of the worst receivers. Again, not that good. Next up, we got Michael Pittman. Now, this one's hard. He's probably top 15, but just barely goes into the top 15. I would have to say. I do think he's a little bit overrated. He could go into 16-20. It's all your opinion, but in my opinion, he's top 15. Next up, we got Calvin Ridley. I think that he's going to be great, but just because of some suspensions, I don't know. I think he is inside the 16-20 range. With Odell Beckham, he's probably like just as good as Odell. Not all time, of course, but currently, I think so. Treylon Burks. We haven't got to see much of him. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put him more down here. I think he is better than Nick Collins and Juju Smith, but he's not one of those top-tier receivers like top 20 yet. I think he will end up being if he gets a better quarterback. Next up, we got Jerry Jeudy. At the end of the season, he was great. I'll say he's top 15 easily. If he did not have to share half of his catches with Cordell Sutton, he would be top 10, I think. Next up, we got MVS. I'm going to have to say he's one of the lower tier 21 through 25 receivers. Not that good. Probably most mediocre receiver ever currently. Next up, we got Davante Adams. Again, a top 5 receiver. And there's no doubt about it. Probably has one of the best sideline catches inside the NFL. And he could get open on any cornerback. It could be Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, Sauce Gardner. It could be anyone. It could be Denzel Ward, anyone. He will burn them. He will be able to get past those defenders. Next up, we got Keenan Allen. He would be top 10 probably. But because of injuries, I'm going to put him at that 16 to 20. Injuries are a big part of the NFL, and he was out maybe, I think he was out like 10 games, so he only played like 7. And he didn't do that many good of numbers during those games. Next up, we got CeeDee Lamb. I think he's a top 10 wide receiver. And also, I think if he had a quarterback that wasn't throwing 10 plus interceptions at the end of the season, he would be possibly top 5, but definitely not nowadays. Next up, we got Darius Slayton. Again, he's one of those not that good. He's just like Nico Collins. Not that good. Next up, we got A.J. Brown. I think he's top 10. Man, it's tough. He could be top 5, but I think there's one other receiver that could be better than him. Well, I think he is better than him, but he's definitely like either number 7 or 6. He's probably like on the same level of Stephon Diggs he played this season. Next up, we got Terry McLaurin. He's probably just making that top 10, barely, by like a tiny little bit. Barely. I think you could put him at 11, 15. He'd either be the best at number 11 or number 10. But next up, we got DJ Moore. I think he's 11 through 15. We didn't see much of him last year. But this year, I think he will improve with Justin Fields being at the quarterback position. Next up, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's, again, just like DJ Moore. Not exact storyline, but Jared Goff has improved, and I think that he is going to get better than last season. I mean, I know he was like great numbers last year. I think he had like over 1,000 receiving yards last year. But this year, I think he might do even better. So I put him at 11 through 15 right now. Next up, we got Christian Watson. He's 21 through 25. He's again most mediocre, just like MVS and Deontay Johnson and Treylon Burks. Most like mediocre people right now. Next up, we got Drake London. I think he's proved that he is a good receiver, and I think if he had a better quarterback, he could have won Rookie of the Year. But for now, he's inside the middle area, 16 through 20. Next up, we got Adam Thielen. I think he's going to have a great season this year, but I think he's going to go to the mediocre where all those other guys are. He's getting a little bit too old, and he's going to start going downhill, but he's like the only knowable receiver on the Panthers right now. And I think that Bryce Young is going to be able to pass to him some pretty nice bullets. Next up, we got Chris Olave. He was one of the most targeted receivers last year. He's probably 11 through 15 at this point, which is great for just coming off of his rookie year. Same thing with like Garrett Wilson coming off of his rookie season and already top 10. And next up, we got Mike Evans. I think he's top 10, maybe, possibly. I think if he wouldn't got suspended, he would have been like a top 10 receiver. Next up, this is the dude I was talking about, why Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, or Garrett Wilson could not be inside the top 10. Cooper Kupp, baby. He is easily one of the best receivers. If he did not get injured, his first 5 games he played healthy, he was on streak to have another 1,500 yard season like 2 years ago whenever they won the Super Bowl. Next up, we got Deebo Samuel. Probably one of the most overrated receivers inside the NFL. He's still 11 through 15, but it's fine. Next up, we got DK Metcalf, another top 10 receiver. He's definitely in there. He has to be inside there. Next up, ending off the video, we got Marquise Brown, who is 16 through 20. He is a super speedy receiver who I think is great. But that ends off the video today. Bye, guys. Please like and subscribe and comment down below who your favorite receiver is and what team they're on. Hope you guys have a great day. And, all right, bye-bye. See you next time.